Most of us in this class have played some sort of video game before, whether it was on a console or on our Nintendo DS growing up. Why do you enjoy playing video games? If you're like me, it's because you like leveling up or beating other competition. That is what I will be discussing today: the reward systems in video games and how their design affects our brain. This topic has been researched by several scientists and journalists, including Brittany Brookshire, who has a PhD physiology, Coy Mariano and Saul McLeod, who have PhDs in psychology, and columnist Ann Petriangelo. I will be using some of their research in my speech about the science of reward systems. First, I will talk about the design of reward systems. Almost every video game is designed to have a reward schedule. This means that there is a schedule set to reward you based on whether you are in the game, how you are doing in the game, and how long you have been playing. Green and Bavalier said in 2012, specifically satisfaction of psychological needs might be mainly related to the various feedback mechanisms provided to the player by the game. The most common schedule is the fixed ratio schedule. This is when a player gets rewarded for doing a certain amount of actions for completing a level. This is the most effective system. According to Saul McLeod, positive reinforcement is a term best described by B.F. Skinner's operant learning condition. In positive reinforcement, a response or behavior is strengthened by rewards, leading to the repetition of desired behavior. The reward is a reinforcing stimulus. When a person does well in a video game, they become motivated. They continue to play to level up or to get a reward. When you get rewarded while playing a game, the brain recognizes the reward system and releases dopamine. When players start doing well, it's because they understand the game and how to win, which makes the brain release dopamine. If you are motivated, you learn better and you remember more of what you learned. That's according to Coy Mariano in 2018. The opposite is true too. When you are constantly losing or getting stuck on a level, you lose that motivation to keep playing. Video game companies understand how their reward systems create motivations in players, and that is why their games are so popular. I mean, how fun would it be to play a game you could never beat? Secondly, I will talk about the effects of reward systems in video games on the brain and body. A lot of people do not realize the power that video games hold over them, or the science behind them. As I said earlier, reward systems release dopamine and create motivations in players. These reward systems cause our brains to release a chemical called dopamine. According to Ann Petriangelo, dopamine is a neurotransmitter made in the brain. Basically, it acts as a chemical messenger between neurons. Dopamine plays a role in our emotions, including the feeling of being addicted. This dopamine release, according to Brittany Brookshire in 2017, this dopamine release tells the brain that whatever it just experienced is worth getting more of. On the contrary, low levels of dopamine are the result of poor performance, which makes a player unmotivated to keep playing the game, and they won't feel addicted. Video game reward systems also affect our bodies. For instance, Dr. Nicholas Kandaris, author of Glow Kids, How Screen Addiction is Hijacking Our Kids, said that he had treated multiple teenagers who had become so encapsulated in gaming that they would not even rise up to use the restroom. This just goes to show how video games with reward systems can affect players. Thirdly, I will talk about why you should take caution before playing a video game. Playing video games often bring out unwanted emotions, whether you're winning or losing. When you're losing, it is extremely easy to be down on yourself or lose your temper. As I said earlier, when you are doing well in a game, your dopamine levels increase. This creates a feeling of addiction. When you keep leveling up, you feel more accomplished, right? Why stop now? It's hard to stop playing when you are doing well or when you are close to accomplishing a task. The only way to limit the amount of time you spend playing video games, the only way to do it is to limit the amount of time you spend playing video games. Reward systems can seem flawless, but their true design was to get you to keep playing. If you get nothing else out of my speech but this, then I will be content. Take caution before playing video games with reward systems. Don't let them control you. It's so easy to let technology control how much time we spend on it. I think we should be the generation that takes control over our addictions. In conclusion, reward systems cause addiction. First, I discussed the reward systems, how they were created, and the positive and negative effects. Secondly, I explained what dopamine was and how it affected our brain and our body. Finally, I explained how important it is to be careful when playing video games. Video games can be fun and entertaining, but if you're not careful, they're gonna control everything you do.